Hello and welcome to the Film Pittsburgh Fall Festival. I'm Caroline Collins. Welcome to this very special interview with the creator, the writer, director of Twilight's Kiss, Mr. Ray Yeung. Ray, welcome.
Hello, hi, how are you?
How nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We're very excited to talk to you today, and you're coming to us all the way from Hong Kong, correct?
Yes, Hong Kong, yes.
Is that where you filmed, Ray?
Yes, that's where we did the filming, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful film. I mean, just so beautifully written and directed. I just loved every minute of it. So I'd love to hear really how the idea came to you and just the genesis of the whole film.
Right. I think in 2015, I used to live in New York. So 2015, I came back to Hong Kong purposely, wanting to make a Cantonese movie. Because originally I was from Hong Kong, but I've never made a Cantonese movie before. My two previous movies were in English. So I was trying to find a topic that, I thought would be different. So I came across this book called The Oral Histories of Older Gay Men in Hong Kong.
Oh.
The book is written by a Hong Kong University professor. And it's really a collection of 12 interviews of elderly gay men who are in 70 or 80 years old. And after I read it, I thought, wow, that was really interesting. I've never really read stories like that before. So I contacted the writer and say, do you think I could meet some of the interviewees? So he said, well, actually, some of them passed away already. So I felt, wow, so there's more an emergency to make this story. So I met up the ones who are still alive, and then sort of like went to their apartments and spoke to them and became friends, really. And sort of like collected their experiences, their backgrounds, and kind of like reimagine what it would be like if they meet now and fall in love. So that's how I created the story.
Wow. Did you use any of their actual experiences in the film?
I think mostly about their, a little bit about their histories, like, their backgrounds, a little bit about their philosophy, how they see their homosexuality, how they see their lives. And then some of it is just really their experiences, like an incident in their lives. So I really mix it all together. It wasn't really exactly based on any particular one person, one interview. It was really like a match, a mix and match of everybody. Yeah.
Well, it was so thoughtful, and just the character development all the way through was just really kept you hanging on watching it. I love that. Tell me, is that, I guess we're sort of a generation now where homosexuality is more accepted, and I'm coming from an American point of view, obviously. What is it like in Hong Kong now? Is it accepted more? Do these men feel like they're able to be more themselves?
Well, I think the younger generation in Hong Kong is very different. I mean, because they're a lot more vocal and they're a lot more sure of who they are. So they are the ones, the younger ones, certainly. A lot of them don't really have the problems with coming out. Of course, it's not as open as in the West, but still, I think people are much more sure of themselves. But we are talking about this generation is that they're different because when they were young, in their primes, homosexuality in Hong Kong was a criminal offense. So that really affected how they, see themselves, when it is illegal, it was very, very difficult for them to actually accept themselves, because not that you can be arrested, but anyone you dated, they could blackmail you.
Oh, wow.
Also that you really cannot find a job if you are exposed of being gay or all that things. So for them, it was very, very difficult to actually come out or accept themselves. So, and that kind of carries on until now, even though that they in their 60s or 70s, it's very difficult to deal with it when you have that very deep-seated shame inside you. Even though you know that the world has changed, people say, oh, we are all embracing now. But it's how you feel about yourself that is different. So for them to actually come out and still be very proud of who they are is difficult.
Yeah. Well, and you really dealt with that in the film too at the end. This interview will run after the film, so it's not a spoiler alert, but really the ending, our couple doesn't end up together. And it's because of exactly what you just said.
And I think also because they spend their whole life building the families.
Yes.
They sacrifice so much, you see. This generation of people, they really came to Hong Kong from China with not a lot, and they really built everything up themselves.
Yeah.
So, and they really put their own personal desires really at the bottom of their priorities. Everything is about survival. Yeah. And of course, they have to get married in order to be socially accepted in the society. And then when they do that, they spend all their lives working really hard to build this up. So they have what they really want is like to have their kids look up to them and give them respect. So at this end of their lives, and suddenly, they come out and they might risk all these things that they have spent their whole life building up. So for them, it's really difficult, you see. I mean, like for me, because like I spend a lot of time living in the West, for me, like coming out or being true to yourself and all that is very, very important. Until I read this book, then I just felt, wow, my God, I actually can see why for these people is very, very different. They have a very different attitude, and I can see what the problem is. So that is very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And knowing that it was based on real actual stories that you read that sort of inspired this, not based on, but inspired you, that really makes it even all the more, sort of heartfelt. So it was really, really lovely. I really just enjoyed it so much, but I feel like we really got to know these characters, and even your sort of tertiary characters were so beautifully developed as well. The families, you really got to sort of see where the children were coming from, and even the grandchildren, those adorable little girls, they were so cute.
Thank you. I think when I was developing it with the writer, the original writer, Travis, I think one thing that we talk about was that, it's very easy to like demonize the family and just like, oh, okay, and they discover that they're gay and then they throw them out and all that, But what if the family is quite loving? Mm-hmm. It makes it much harder when both things are, of course, you have this desire, there's this person that you really want to be with, but yet your family is also someone you do love, which is all of these cases. That's why it makes it so difficult to come out or break out or whatever, because you do not want to lose something that is very important to you as well. So that was something that we were purposely, when we were drafting the script, is to make sure that we give the family a very kind of like solid kind of like screen time as well.
Yeah. And how about the wife? Let's talk a little bit about her, because she really, you got to understand where she was coming from, but you never quite learned if she knew or didn't know. What do you think?
Yes, I think when I first showed the script to the actress Garmin, and she read it, and then she said, Ray, do you think she knows or not? So I said, well, I think she knows, because if a woman has been with a man for 40 years, I think she knows. She said, but do you think there should be a scene in there that the wife actually discover, and then so the audience would know? I said, no, but I think that would be so obvious. I think I'd much rather if the audience can see that she possibly sends it, but not really, really clear, because I want it to be like we meet these people as friends. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you meet a couple and you don't know exactly what the truth or the facts is, but from their reaction, the way they treat each other, something is going on. So I want it to be something like that, so the audience can see them, and so the wife must know something. But how much she knows, or when she knows, it doesn't matter. But that she possibly knows, and how she reacts to it. I think that's much more interesting.
It is, and you really trusted your audience to understand that and to accept that.
Yes, and I also think that if a woman who has been with a man for 40 years, even though she might not know that he's gay, but she knows that, he might not be attracted to me, and he might not actually be attracted to women as well. I think you just know these things, right? And I don't think it has to spell it out to you so clearly.
Yeah, really. Yeah, it was clear, I think, but at the same time, you leave that sort of little kernel of wonder, which was really special.
Yeah.
You've taken this film on the festival circuit so far, correct? Before everything kind of fell apart. Tell me what the experience has been with it so far.
Well, we were lucky enough that we launched the movie in September last year, and then we got invited to the Busan Film Festival in Korea. And then afterwards, that we got 5 nominations from the Golden Horse in Taipei,
Wow.
including Best Feature and Best Actor for both leads. So,
Wow.
yeah, we were very thrilled. And then we got invited to the Berlin Film Festival as part of the Panorama. So that was really good. And then it exploded, the content. So, and then everything shut down. So we were booked to do a lot more film festivals at the beginning, but they all got cancelled for a few months. Very quiet until I think around June, July, that all the festivals start happening again. Mainly decided to do online. So now October alone, we have 25 film festivals.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, all online, of course.
Wow. Yes, but still, 25 festivals is incredible. And
yes, because a lot of the festivals would postpone, right? Because originally they were meant to be in June, so now they all decided to do it in October.
Oh my goodness! So I guess you've been very busy on online, correct? Doing.
I've been zooming, yes.
You've been doing. Crazy that that's become a verb in our world. And then what's in the future then? Will you go back to a cinematic release after all of this, or is that not?
Well, I think, funny enough, I'm going to talk to my distributor later today. So he is saying that we have a U.S. distributor, as you know, Strand is our distributor in the U.S. And he said the cinemas are opening again soon, or in New York is opening in December. So our plan is to launch the movie in the cinemas in New York first.
Okay.
And they're on stuff like it was supposed to be on the cinema in September this year, but
okay, yeah.
So so that is our U.S. plan, and also France as well. It was supposed to be released in December, and now it's possibly going to be spring. Yeah.
Yeah, well, great. Well, you hear that, New Yorkers and our French friends, go and see this in the cinema. I'd love to see it on the big screen. So my hope is that someday I can as well.
Yes, yes. I think it looks much better on the big screen. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ray, thank you so much for talking with us. This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy it.
I'm sure our audience will love it. And I really thank you for sharing it with us.
And if you like it, go to the Twilight Kids Facebook or Instagram and, just say hi to us.
Terrific. Thanks, Ray. And thank you all for watching with us. I hope you enjoy the rest of the festival.